Today I want to talk to you about a very personal experience of mine, and I hear it all the time with all the anti-abortion shit going on, which is fucking ridiculous. Me personally, I don't believe in abortion, but you do you. That's your decision, your choice, whatever. But one of the things that everyone's heard, and it is extremely common to hear, is if you get pregnant by accident for some reason your birth control fails or the condom breaks, you know, oh, well, there's always adoption, right? Just think about all those parents out there who want to get pregnant but can't. I'm here to tell you that's not for everybody. It's not for the faint of heart. And it is probably way more emotionally draining than an abortion could possibly be. I would know I've never had an abortion, but I'm 28. I got pregnant when I was 18. Almost 10 years ago, I got pregnant. The condom broke. It happens. When I found out I was pregnant, I was still a senior in high school, okay? And I pretty much knew in my heart that there was no way I could keep this child. None. I wasn't ready. Emotionally, financially, just not ready. And I get this all the time. Well, you were 18, you should have been ready. No. Being so young in the situation I was in, it wasn't ideal to raise a child. Now, don't get me wrong, I love my child with all my heart, and that is why I chose what I did for her. Sorry, I'm a hot ass mess. But, when I found out I was pregnant, I knew in my heart that I couldn't care for her. That is the truth. I pretty much made up my mind in an instant that I couldn't take care of this kid. Her father wanted me to get an abortion. I couldn't go through with it, even if I thought it would be best. There's no way I could go through with that. That's just who I am as a person. So when I had my first appointment with my doctor, he gave me three options. He said, you could keep the child, and there's abortion. And he told me that because certain partners of his were against it, he couldn't give me the pill to do it. It was still really early in my pregnancy. And then he's like, and then there's an option that's not really talked about, and it's adoption. I was like, okay, let me go home, let me think about it. I'll let you know. And my child's father was pretty much against anything but keeping the child after I turned down the abortion. I don't want anybody else raising my kid. That's my kid. Okay? That's the words that he used. I was like, well, we can't afford to keep this child. I don't have a job. I'm still in school. You're making minimum wage. You can't provide for us. He's like, give me a couple months. I'm about to get a promotion. Let me prove to you that I can do this. Okay. 4 months later, he sits me down. And he's like, we can't do this. I was like, okay. So the best thing about my doctor, he gave me a number for a lawyer, a family lawyer. I was like, okay, this is cool, I don't have to go through an agency, it could be a private adoption. Best decision I could have made. My doctor tells me he has a fertility doctor friend in Cleveland who's been working with a couple who's been trying for 10 years to have a child. And I'm like, okay. He's like, all you have to do is call the lawyer and they'll set it up. Like that. Okay. So I did. Called the lawyer. Met with her. She was wonderful. She basically told me how the process works. I have 6 months up until 6 months after I sign the papers to change my mind. Up to 6 months. That's a long time. Okay. So she's going through it. She's like, you won't be responsible for any of your medical bills, anything that has to do with the child. You're not responsible. You don't have to pay me. They are responsible. I'm like, what? Like, you're telling me the adoptive couple has to pay for everything? Yes. They pay for my lawyer, my doctor's visits, my hospital stays, the baby's hospital stays, any tests that the baby has to do, the court costs, everything is covered. And I'm just like, damn, it's a hard process. You get FBI background checks. You have to have a social worker come out to your house and do home checks up into, I'm not even sure anymore, but they do home checks when you bring the baby home too. Just like, damn, it's not cheap. So I was like, okay, I still have time to decide. Now, with adoption agencies, the pregnant woman can go through different files of parents and select a couple to meet to see if it's the right fit. I didn't have to do that. We set up a meeting with this couple and just went from there. When I went into the meeting, I was with my mom, and I told her right off the bat, like, I'm not gonna like anybody who wants to take my baby. I'm just not gonna like anybody. But I went through with it, and I'm so glad I did. I fell in love with this couple instantly. And I told them right then and there, like, I want you to adopt my baby. I want you to have my baby. And I think that's when I realized, this is real. I'm actually gonna go through with this, Because everybody, my family doubted me, my friends doubted me, like, oh, you can't go through with it, Like, you won't be able to do it. But I did. So the time comes to have her. And of course, I have the adoptive couple there. Sorry, my eyes are stinging. It was long. And the next day, I had the hospital social worker come into my room. And we had a little chat. And I had the baby with me. My little 6.5-pound little girl, all bundled up, so cute. The social worker for the hospital came in and she goes, This couple has been bonding with this baby, and it would be a shame if you changed your mind. It would hurt them, it would hurt the baby, this, that, and the other. And she looked at me, she goes, you have to be dead sure to do this. And I looked down at this little baby girl, and I looked at the social worker, and I had tears streaming down my face. And I told the social worker that I'm sure this is what I want to do. I am not leaving this hospital with this baby. And she said, okay. And she left. Now, the whole time I was in the hospital, I bonded with this baby. I bonded with the couple, so I felt comfortable with my decision. I said goodbye to her on June 4th. She was born on June 2nd. I said goodbye to her on June 4th. And I'm holding her, and I'm talking to her, and I'm just like, I hope one day you understand why I did this. I did this out of love, out of care. I did this for you, not for me. And I walked out of the hospital, and I haven't seen her in person since. I've gotten pictures, which I am so grateful for. But she is now going to be 9 years old. On June 2nd, she will be 9. And I will tell you, don't tell people that adoption is an option, because it's not for the faint of heart. It is not easy. It is not, oh, just sign a piece of paper and that's it. It is not. It affects you for the rest of your life. My heart is broken. I broke my own heart for my child. Isn't that what motherhood's supposed to be about? And I agree. I've been called a bad mom. I've been told that I threw my baby away like trash. I've been told I don't love my child, when the exact opposite is true. I've been told I was selfish. No, I did what was right for my child. The situation I was in was extremely toxic, not only for me, but for my baby. I swear to you that if I had kept her, I'd probably be in a really worse off situation. I wouldn't be where I am today. And I'm a stronger person because of her. My family has told me countless times that they're proud of me for what I did. They're happy that I did it. My sister, my oldest sister, who was so against it in the beginning, is now glad I did it. One day I will be a great mother. I know that now. But back then, I couldn't take care of her, and I did what was best for my child. But to tell all these other women that adoption is better than abortion, you don't know the half of it. Abortion may be a lot better for some people, because adoption is extremely emotionally damaging. I am 100% pro-choice, okay? It is the women's decision to do what they want. It's none of my business. I chose adoption because I felt that was what was right for me. What's right for me is not always right for everybody else. I don't give a fuck who you think you are. But adoption is so hard. Emotionally, physically, it affects you for the rest of your life. Because when that child decides to come and find you, and you have to explain to them everything without like trashing their father, even though they are a piece of fucking shit, Yeah. I'm scared one day she doesn't want to come and find me. I'm scared that if she does and she asks about him, all I can give her is his name. I'm not going to tell her all the bad things he did. I'm just going to tell her why I felt like I should, why I did what I did. She's going to be 9 years old. And every second of every day, I am so glad I did what I did. I don't regret it. But it's not easy. It is tough. And I hope whoever sees this, who thinks, adoption is a good choice, good for you. But you gotta stick to it. I chose adoption right off the bat. Right when I found out I was pregnant, I knew I couldn't take care of her. And the best option for me was adoption. And if you go into it and you meet a couple and you tell a couple that they want your child, that you want them to take your child, and then you change your mind at the last minute, it is heartbreaking for that couple. So I'm telling you right now, if you choose adoption, stick to it. Some people may regret it, some people don't. I don't regret it. Some people will. I'm not one of them. And I hope that people learn that just because it's an unwanted pregnancy and people say, oh, there's always adoption, it's not that simple. It's really not. So, yeah.